Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Who's ready for a quickie? I am. I hope you are too. Come join me for a nooner here as we do an impromptu, spontaneous quickie. Okay, I just saw the news that Donald Trump had posted bond in the E Jean Carroll case. So he found a sucker, otherwise known as a bond company, to put up the $91 million, which is the $83 million he owes E Jean Carroll through the defamation suit, plus about 10% or the 9% interest that he has to put up, or 20%, I believe it is. Anyways, you have to put more up. What this does, he's always allowed to appeal, but by putting up the bond, he stops the ability for E Jean Carroll and her lawyer, Ms. Kaplan, to start seizing his properties to pay off the $83 million that he owes. That's what that means. So the appeal will go through. If he loses the appeal, then she's got the money because the bond company has put up the $93 million. So she's instantly paid. And then it's up to the bond company to collect that money from Donald Trump. This rating is going to be, are they going to be able to collect? Come on down for a quickie. What's the energy around Donald Trump having to put up this money with the bond company? How's good old Donnie feeling? King of Swords. It literally is, he didn't have a choice. It's an unhappy choice. The justice system wasn't going to cut him any slack. And E Jean Carroll's lawyers were not going to cut him any slack. So if he wants to hold on to his penthouse suite or anything that's not in the Trump business. Now, this is going to be Trump's personal property. Whatever is outside of Trump org is what she could seize. And you've got Barbara Jones inside Trump org who could provide Ms. Kaplan, Ms. Kaplan, the lawyer, but E Jean Carroll with a list of Trump's assets, and they could start going after that. Basically, he ran out of time. And he had no options. The strength card, weakness, strength. He had no options. The court system held. He tried to circumvent the court system. He couldn't do it. And all of his normal tricks that he's used to being able to do, he can't do. The court system held strong. So now he's under a lot of pressure. He literally had to put up $90 billion. And mind you, the billionaire had to use a bond company. He didn't have the assets to do it on his own. So he doesn't even have $100 million or $90 million lying around. Not that any of us do. And if you do, please come on over to my place. He doesn't have $90 million lying around. Hell, the billionaire. He's not very he's not very liquid. This is not a surprise because he calls himself the king of debt. He's leveraged on everything. That's just what he does. In the past, we got the Eight of Coins, the judgment that's been laid out. Trump working the angles, trying to get the judgment lower, trying to get exceptions made, and he's got a $350 million judgment, now $400 and something million with the New York civil case that he has to come up with money for. So he's allegedly has money. He has these big judgments against him, and now he's trying to figure out a way to lower those judgments and cobble together money at the same time. He couldn't do it, couldn't get the money on his own, so he had to go into an agreement with this bond company. This bond company is going to help him get through this part of it. It's putting a cap on the seizure. I guess what Trump is really afraid of here, what I'm getting from this, he's afraid of having his assets seized, because that's going to be humiliating to him. For a billionaire to start having his 30,000 square foot, which is really 10,000 square foot, penthouse triplex seized. And E Jean Carroll is going to be kicking up on his sofa with her feet up on his coffee table, in his place. This would just blow his mind. Lesson to be learned. The smug merchant's not looking so smug. The wealthy man is not quite so wealthy. he had to go to a bonding company to save his butt. His mythology is starting to crumble. This is going to be a big contributing event to that health event that he's going to have coming up soon. E. Jean Carroll wins on this. Women win on this. It's not so much that it's a win in that now she's got that money secured. She's not going to have to fight him in court. She's not going to have to go seizing his properties, which is going to be humiliating. But she wins in that she's now got the money secured. It's now the bonding company that has to deal with Trump and Trump not paying his bills. And not only that, by Trump having to use a bonding company, she wins because she's showing the world that Trump doesn't have the cash. It's eating away at his mythology. It's eating away, the Teflon Don, nothing ever sticks. Well, guess what? She won $80 million. And Don tries to get through the court system and bend them to his will, and they don't bend. So he has to cave to their will. And it's going to start exposing everything about him, and that's going to his self-esteem and his self-worth and his net worth are all connected. And now his net worth is being shown to be an illusion, which means that the illusion that he's built up about himself with his self-worth and his self-esteem, that's going to be pierced too. Okay. Is Donald Trump does he have any intention on willingly paying up any of this money when he loses his appeal? In other words, when he loses his appeal, he could just hand over the properties, or is he going to fight him in court? And he probably already knows the answer. I think the answer is he's going to fight him in court. But what's going to happen between Trump and the insurance company when Trump loses these cases? Okay, we have the 10 of Cups. Everything's complete. It should be hunky-dory. You lose the case and go on. And then the battles continue. When things are completed, the battles keep continuing. Trump going to the insurance company and saying, I know I owe you $90 million, but would you take $50 million? Maybe we could split the costs on this. He's going to try and negotiate and lowball with them. He made an agreement and he doesn't want to honor the agreement. He wants to renegotiate like he does with the banks. I'm bankrupt. I'm only going to pay you 10 cents on the dollar type of thing. In the past, the Empress. Okay, so the bond company came in. They took care of Trump. And he promised that he was going to, okay, this is all going to work out, everything along those lines. But he loses his appeal to E. Jean Carroll. E. Jean Carroll's sitting pretty. She's got her $90 million. And now the court system has ruled against him. And now it's time for the insurance company to collect. And they're stuck. They're stuck because he's going to fight them in court. The very court that he lost in, he's going to take them right back to court and fight them. And they're going to realize that they've been screwed just like every other group that's ever had to deal with Donald Trump. Because now he's trying to renegotiate the money he doesn't want to pay. Oh, God. The lesson to be learned is welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. This is just... Oh, God. Part of it could be when everything's said and done, if Donald Trump does have some type of incident that impacts his mental capacity, maybe they'll be able to collect. That's, so sorry that you had an aneurysm, your blood vessel in your brain popped here. In some ways, if Donald Trump has some health issues, it's actually good for the bond company because he's going to fight him. He is going to fight them in court, and they're going to be stuck. And then they're just going to be back in court. It's like the next lawsuit that Donald has to face is the bond company that bailed him out in the E. Jean Carroll case. outcome is going to be the six of coins. It's going to cost this bond company money in legal fees trying to collect from this billionaire. Eventually they will collect because legally they're in the right, but it's going to cost them money in lawyers, so they're not going to make the profit. Now, mind you, they have like if they get 10% as like a fee or something like that, they're going to lose some of that because they have to fight this thing in court to collect. The courts are going to rule in the the bond company's favor. The bond company, it will win this case, but they're supposed to get maybe $12 million. They may only end up with $6 million profit, and then they have to ask themselves, was it worth it? Yeah, they made $6 million on it, but was it worth the fight? Was it worth all the aggravation in order to collect that money? That's up to them to decide. They've already decided. They've decided it's worth the risk. I'm sure they factored in what they're going to have to deal with in trying to collect from Donald Trump. The other thing with that is, of course, is that, okay, so the properties that he's put up as collateral, you're now going to have to fight the banks for it because you're going to have to sell those, and then the banks are going to get paid first. And how much stuff is that company going to have to seize? Well, it's going to be part of the bond. It's already listed. There's already listed assets. I expect the bond company is not going to get the money that they think they're going to get. Some of that $10 million they collected, the property. I hope they price the properties at distressed sale value prices, because they're not going to get market value. Anyways, we'll end it here, or else it's not going to be a quickie. It's going to be a longie. Thank you very much for watching this video and sharing the afternoon quickie with me. I hope you had a fun time. I did. And I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.